Hello, my sewing friends. My name's Diana, and this is my sewing blog, The Wandering Sewist. Welcome to my channel. This is another edition of hashtag Friday Sews. I want to say thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for starting this hashtag. It's where we could all come together on a Friday, have some sense of community, and share a little bit about sewing, a little bit about our lives. So I know I missed last week. I'm sorry about that, but I was very busy preparing for a holiday in our church that I needed to prepare for. So sorry to have missed you. I did miss posting and I missed interacting with all of you in the comments, which leads me to the suggestion that if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm over 900. Last I checked, I was 914 subscribers. So I only need 86 more and I'll reach that magical 1,000. So if you could please subscribe. If you haven't yet, please share with other sewing friends so that they can find my vlogs and we can have a beautiful little sewing community here on The Wandering Sewist. So let's talk about the sewing that's been going on for the last 2 weeks. So for the last 2 weeks, I have been working on the dresses for my son's wedding. Before I talk about the dresses for my son's wedding, I want to talk about where I'm filming. I'm filming in my garden, in my backyard here in Prague. It was just such a beautiful day. It's finally getting warm enough to come outside here, and I just couldn't resist. And the light is so much better, even though I'm kind of squinting. But down in the basement, the light is very yellow, and I just felt like natural light would be better for today. And the other thing I want to talk about is what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing all me-made clothes today, and the first thing I'm wearing is this top. And this top is made out of double gauze, and it says Simplicity 9333. And this is the second one I've made, and I really like this top. It's very breezy and free-flowing, very nice. And the second thing I'm wearing is a pair of jeans that I made, the Mountain View pull-on jeans from Itch to Stitch. And I really like these because they are made out of stretch denim, and I lengthened the waistband. I made the waistband taller. I'm gonna just stand up so you can see. And I've just tucked my top into my jeans so that to give it some shaping, and I really enjoy wearing my Mountain View pull-on jeans. So that's what I'm wearing. So now let's talk about the dresses. So I finished all 3 dresses for my 3 granddaughters for my son's wedding in September. So I'm going to show them to you. I also did a little bit of a flower decal. So I'm going to show them to you in small, medium, and then large. I used the Little Lizard King Montrose dress. This is the small. This is the size 2. Little flower. It has all the features. I'll go through the features once so that you can see, and then I'll just show all 3 dresses. So it has 3 buttons in the back, and these buttons are vintage buttons from my mother's sewing stash that I played with when I was a little girl. So I'm going to just take this off of the hanger so you can see. I used a lot of new finishing details that I'm not accustomed to using. So first off, I had to make my own bias binding for these tulle overskirts. And I made a lot of bindings, at least 30 yards of bias binding, and I used every bit of it. I think I wound up with a piece at the end that was like 3 inches long after I finished. So I used French seams on the skirt and French seams on the sleeves. And then I used bias binding to cover up the waist seam on the inside, so that the whole inside of the dress is a completely clean finish, and there are no itchy spots, and it'll hopefully be very comfortable for my granddaughters to wear. So this one is for the youngest one that was just turned 1 in May. And so this is the size 2. And I did use an extra tulle layer in between the two overskirt layers, and an extra one here, just to give it more poofiness, because what's cuter than a 2-year-old in a very, very poofy twirly dress? There's not much more adorable than that. So that is the size 2. And then the size 3 is this one. And this is for the middle granddaughter, who just turned 2 in May as well, but she's a big girl. So all the same finishing details, all the same vintage buttons, everything's the same with the flower detail there. And then also this one is the size 6 for the oldest granddaughter, and I think that I finally mastered the rose the best on the size 6. So this one doesn't have the tulle layers in between the two overskirts because I ran out of tulle. Even though I bought 8 meters of tulle, I still ran out, because circle skirts take a lot of fabric. But I don't think you can tell. I think that it's just as twirly as the other two, and hopefully Melody will love it. So that has been the last 2 weeks in my sewing room. I haven't had time for anything else because I really took my time, and I made a few mistakes, and so there was a few pieces that I had to toss into the bin and start completely over. The bodice for the size 6, I completely messed it up. When I was sewing the lining fabric to the outer fabric, I accidentally sewed them right side to wrong side instead of right sides together. And that made it so when I turned the lining to the inside, then I had the wrong side of the satin out. And the back side of the satin wasn't shiny, it was dull. And so I had already trimmed all around the scallops. If you look, it's got these scalloped all the way around. And I had trimmed those with my pinking shears very close to the seam allowance so that I could turn nice sharp scallops. And I tried to unpick it and re-sew it, and I just could not keep the same seam allowance and keep the same size. I had to sew and re-sew, and I was like, okay, this is not worth it. I had plenty of extra blue satin and plenty of the lining, the baby blue gingham. So I just went ahead and just cut a new bodice and started it over from scratch. I did the same thing to one of the sleeves for the first dress. So but that wasn't much fabric. The little sleeve for the size 2, it's only that big. So I did experience a few troubles. I experienced the most time-consuming trouble was making my own bias binding. I'm not sorry that I learned to make it, and I'm not sorry that I have mastered that skill, but it's not something I'm going to seek out in the future to just spend all day making bias binding. I loved having bias binding available. I think I might make an effort to buy bias binding, but I don't think that I will spend a lot of time of making my own, even though it probably would be more economical and environmental. Because, when you have a piece of fabric, big enough left over, you can make quite a bit of continuous bias binding from a square of fabric. See, now I'm rethinking that. I did not enjoy making it, but it is a good use of extra fabric. We'll see. We'll see how it goes the next time I run into where I have extra. Okay, the next thing on my list to talk to you about is my sewing plans. So I'm going to grab my sewing plans and then we'll talk. Okay, so for my sewing plans, I need to now work on my dress for my son's wedding. And I want to make it out of this beautiful embroidered pink linen that I picked up on the Gold Hawk Road in London. Now I have 5.5 yards of this. So I wanted to make a nice, beautiful, long, flowy dress. And I looked through all of my patterns and I was thinking of the Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress. But my waist is still 1 inch too big to fit into the pattern. So I'm getting there, but I still need to lose 1 more inch. It was 3 inches, now it's only 1 more inch. I'm getting there. Eventually I'll be able to fit into the pattern. So I'm going back to the tried and true cashmerette Upton dress. And what's great about this pattern is there are so many options. There are over 300 different combinations of options that you can use for this dress, combining with different necklines. You can have a square neckline, you can have a scoop neckline, you can have a V neckline. You could have a bodice that is princess seamed or darted. You can have no sleeves. You can have a little tie peekaboo sleeve, a flutter sleeve, a short fitted sleeve, a long sleeve, a balloony sleeve. You can have the 3 lengths of skirt. You can have a knee length, a midi, or a maxi, and 2 types of skirts. You could have pleats or you could have a gored skirt. Now, if you'll remember, I'll post it up here and down in the comments below, down in the description box below, that I did make this pattern once already. It was a pink polka dotted poly fabric that I made it out of. And as much as I love that dress, it just didn't fit me properly. The sizing that Cashmere guided me to was wrong. It was way too big around the midsection. And I wound up having to take a lot in. So I've remeasured myself and redone my sizes. So I'm going with my high bust size, which is a 16. And then they already have the different cup sizes. And because I'm a double D, I'm using the EF cup size. So even though I would measure an 18 around the bust, it'll give me a nice fit if I use the 16 and then the EF cup size. And then I'm going down to an 18 just around the waist, and then the skirt will be a size 18 so that it'll be very swooshy. And I'm going to use the gored skirt. This is another thing I learned about my first attempt to make this pattern is I don't like pleated skirts. I think it's because of the extra fullness it gave me around my middle, and I don't like emphasizing the fullness around my middle, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to choose the gored skirt. Now for the linen, I wanted to go maxi length for the wedding. And I calculated all the fabric that you need for the maxi length skirt. You need 4 yards just for the skirt. And then for the bodice and sleeves, you need 1 7/8, which is pretty much 2 more yards. So I need a total of 6 yards for the maxi length. So hopefully I can squeeze out the maxi length out of 5.5 yards. We'll see how it goes. But I have learned my lesson to make a toile. So I am going to toile this plan. So my plan is to choose the V-neck and with the high back, not the low back. I don't like my back, So I'm going to choose the high back V-neck with the darted bodice, because I didn't really like how the princess seams hit me. They didn't hit me quite right, so I'm going to choose darts this time. And it has bust darts and waist darts in the front and in the back. And then I'm going to choose the gored skirt that is maxi length. So I want to do a practice one of the Upton dress. So I have a couple of fabrics that I can choose from to do a practice run. And both of these are fabric I don't mind if they get mixed up, because they're both polyester. I don't mind if I make mistakes. I don't mind if it doesn't come out right. Now, I will go from my least favorite to my most favorite. So this is my least favorite one. It's kind of an Indian vibe. Indian from India vibe. And it's this kind of muted green, which doesn't look terrible on me. So if it comes out okay, it would be a wearable toile. And I have enough of this to do the full maxi length, but I don't know if with the polyester if I would. I might just do the knee length just to get, because the important part is the fit of the bodice. But I do want to come out with a finished garment. So I was going to make a wearable toile out of either this one, and I have enough of this. I have 6 meters of this one, so I could do the full length maxi dress. And oh, did I mention I wanted to do flutter sleeves? Flutter sleeves. And the other one is this beauty. Which is also a polyester, but it's really pretty. What do you think of the color on me? I can't really see because the sun's shining in my eyes and making the camera screen too dim, so I can't see. But I think that this fabric is beautiful, and you know how I feel about orange, especially the combination of teal and orange. And this is almost teal, and there's definitely orange. So is this a good color for me? But can you write in the comments below if this is a good one? So I would like for you to help me choose. In the comments below, can you tell me which one do you think I should make my toile out of? Should I do the green Indian print or the teal and orange? 1 or 2? Please let me know down in the comment section below which one you think I should do for my toile. So that's my plans. I first of all want a toile, and that's going to take a little while. I don't have appropriate lining fabric, so I have to go fabric shopping. I have to find some lining fabric. I don't think that for the lining I want to have polyester touching my skin on the inside. I have very sensitive skin, and so I think I need to line it with cotton or a viscose. This is a very drapey, flowy fabric, so I should probably line it with something also drapey and flowy, like viscose. So I need to find lining fabric, which means I need to go to the fabric store. Darn. So that's my sewing for the week and my plans coming up. Next, let's talk about life. So for life, I have 2 pieces of good news and 1 piece of sad news. So I'll start with the sad news so that we can end on a happy note. The sad news is that my husband's father, my father-in-law, passed away last weekend. He was 88 years old. He lived a long, healthy life. He was a marathon runner, and so 88, good ripe old age. And he passed surrounded by family, and so it wasn't unexpected. He had been deteriorating for some time. So my husband left here, the Prague in the Czech Republic, and he drove to France, and he just came back late last night. The funeral was yesterday. So it's good that we were in Europe when this happened. So this is specifically his parents aging is one of the reasons why we wanted this posting for my husband's tour of duty to be in Europe, so that we could be within a reasonable distance if something like this happened. So I'm glad that we were here in Europe. So now let's move on to the two pieces of good news. So the next piece of news is, as you know, 2 weeks ago on Monday was my husband's and my 23rd wedding anniversary. And we had discussed how we wanted to celebrate. And we both decided we just wanted a quiet evening at home. We didn't want to do anything. We didn't want to go out. And we decided we didn't want to exchange gifts. We didn't want to make a big deal out of it. But then he came home that night and he gave me this little box. And I was like, but we said no gifts. And he's just like, he couldn't help himself. So he bought me this. I don't know if the sun is going to give it the sparkle. I love cameos. It's something that I have always loved. I think that they are beautiful. And so this is a beautiful cameo necklace and this is handmade and carved by a Czech artist. And so the necklace has it's a nice long chain, and it's very sparkly. You can see. And then you can take the chain off, and then this part folds down, and on the back is a pin, so you can change it into a brooch, which I don't always enjoy wearing necklaces because I don't like it that they get caught in the hair, here. And so sometimes I will opt for a brooch instead of a necklace. And in this case, I don't have to choose. I can do one or the other and still be able to wear this incredible beauty. Here's an up close look. Is it focusing on her? Move my face. She's just, I can't stop looking at it because I just love cameos and I just think they're beautiful. They're so beautiful. So that's the first piece of news. And the second piece of news, you may have noticed, I got my braces off. And so now I have my teeth and my smile, and it's wonderful. And yeah, I'm getting my retainers today. And so I will have my retainers and no braces. I do have permanent retainers on the backs of my front teeth, top and bottom. And so I have a wire inside here and inside here, which is fine. But now I, no more cheeks sticking into the wires, no more things poking me. And now I can finish working on getting my implants done now that all my teeth are moved into the right spots. So if you're new, you may not know that I was born with some missing teeth that I never grew in. I have a mutation. So my teeth moved around a lot over my life to fill in the gaps where adult teeth never grew in. I had baby teeth. When those came out, there was never adult teeth to take their spot. So I'm missing quite a few. 5. I'm missing 5 adult teeth. So I started the implant process already. I have a titanium rod here. Getting my next titanium rod down here pretty soon. And then that'll be enough to keep all of my teeth in place, my natural teeth in place, so that I don't have to worry about them shifting around and needing to go back into braces again, because my bottom teeth were shifted around over here, and I mean it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I'm happy to have my braces off and have my smile back, and I feel like it's the best smile I've had ever since I was a little girl. We know how little kids always have perfect teeth. So it's been a while. So that's it for my vlog for this week. Hashtag Friday Sews. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and with plenty of time with your family and plenty of time to sew something beautiful. Take care. Mwah. Bye.